Mr. Rick Reviglio please come up here and receive this most deserving award?
You're making me cry. I love you.
You want to stand for it?
Oh, yeah.
No, that's okay. You don't have to stand for it. You don't have to. Thank you. Oh, no. Just come on in.
Oh, all right.
Well, the most impressive thing of the whole evening was hearing Uncle Tom speak that long and not saying one bad word. and saying so many nice things about me. Vic, thank you so much for that beautiful introduction. For everyone that spoke, you know, when Vicki made me do this, if I would have remembered there was a video, I would have said under one condition, no video. I'm sorry all of you had to go do that. Anyways, I'm grateful. And Vic, I'm not sure there's anybody in the room that has committed to the Boys and Girls Club of Truckee Meadows all these years as much as you have. And I got a little story a little later, a little more about that. But thank you for who you are, Vic, and what you've done, and so honored to have called you a dear friend all these years. So, okay, the good news is I don't have a speech, and I don't have glasses, so I couldn't read the speech, so I'm just going to wing it. Okay, so, all right, I have some thank yous, and I got a few stories, but I think they're relevant. And first and most importantly, I'm truly, truly honored to be recognized. I'm grateful and humbled. And the truth is, I had an unfair advantage to get this honor. And that unfair advantage started on January 14th, 1966. The day I was born to Jack and Roe Reviglio. I hit the lotto that day. And, yes, Mom, hit the lotto. And, yes, I was born with a silver spoon. A funny story, a man was upset about his son's playing time at the high school level. And so he started knocking the high school coaches on social media. So I called them up and I said, hey, don't be knocking the coaches on social media. If you got a problem, call them up, meet with them face to face. But don't do the social media deal. And he had a great response. F you, Reviglio. Don't you tell me what to do. You were born with a silver spoon and you've never worked a day in your life. And so later I was talking to my wife, Kathy, and she knew I was going to talk to him. She said, how did it go? I told her the story. She said, did you get upset? I said, no. He got the silver spoon part right. Anyways, in spite of the silver spoon, my brother Ted, my sister Carrie, and myself, we were raised that we're no better than anyone else, and that we are exact equals, and to treat everyone as equals. And I want to thank my mom and dad for that. Another great compliment to my parents. I'll never forget 1984, graduate Bishop and Oak Catholic High School, off to St. Mary's College, taking my first ever economics class, Economics 101. And I will never forget, it was the first time I heard the detailed description of lower class, middle class, and upper class. And I remember sitting there, somewhat bewildered, pondering, what class am I? Now, that's good parenting. So, once again, thanks to Mom and Dad. So, speaking of classes, a place that all classes come together, one of my favorite places on planet Earth, Disneyland. So, when Vicki said, you got to go take these pictures, and went down there, and we walked in the studio, and they gave me mouse ears. And I knew they had a theme to this every year, and I grabbed the mouse ears, and I said, Mike, is this your Disney theme? He was like, yep. I was like, Dad, messing with me again. You see, because I'm a Disney wacko. I'm truly a Disney wacko. Now think about this. You got one guy's vision, and 64 years later, bringing that vision to life. It's a phenomenal model with amazing training, with amazing execution to bring that model to life all these years later. It's a model that anyone in leadership, anyone in business should truly respect and want to emulate. It's a place where dreams come true. It's the happiest place on earth. So, speaking of vision, making dreams come true, the happiest place on earth sounds like something familiar. Sounds like the Boys and Girls Club of Truckee Meadows, right? Okay, this is really important for everybody to understand this history, and it was mentioned, but I'm going to mention it again. It's really an amazing story. How the club happened, mid-70s. There was a gentleman by the name of Sam Boyd. And at that time, Sam Boyd met a prince. And that prince's name was Lud Correo. Uncle Lud, put your hand up there. You had to do it earlier. So, now, Sam Boyd, does that ring a bell? That's if the great University of Nevada is playing that school down south. When they play at the football stadium, they play at Sam Boyd Stadium. Well, going back in time, Sam Boyd, when he was getting going, he was building the California Hotel and Casino. And he said, Lud, you're going to build my hotel and casino. Here's the pin, here's the contract. But before you sign it, you and I are going to have a handshake agreement. You're going to start a boys club in northern Nevada. You see, back then, it was only called the Boys Club. Well, nobody better to give that mission to than Lud Correo. Lud Correo came back to northern Nevada, and he met with some business leaders. One of them, I'm proud to say, is my father, my uncle, Chris Gerhardt. I'm not sure if he was hunting. I'm not sure if he made it back. Chris Gerhardt and a lot of other business leaders. And then the rest is history. I wanted to tie in Vicki Luce back at that time because back then they had the women's auxiliary who would help out the boys club. And Vicki was on all the guys' behinds all the time about, have you sold the tickets? Have you made your phone calls? Do we have any prizes? Do you guys know what you're doing? And these guys are like, now I know anybody that knows Vicki can't imagine her doing that. But she did. And so these guys said, hey, we know how to get Vicki to shut up. We'll just put her on the board. Well, almost 40 years later, Vic hasn't shut up. She's still there, making a difference. Great job, Vic. Another amazing woman I just want to quickly recognize is someone that served the longest tenure in the history of the club up until Mike Worm, and that is Mo Kachurik. Mo, she was a dynamo up at the University of Nevada athletic department, and my uncle, who was very involved in the athletic department, recruited Mo, introduced her to his brother, my father. Dad introduced her to the board. And Mo served in that leadership role for 11 years. She took the club from 1 location to 7 locations. She integrated the club, the first to do it, integrating the club into the at-risk schools. She started the whole transportation system, and the sign of a great leader, she recruited and hired Mike Worm. Great job, Mo. Where are you? Great job, Mo. So what Mike and Mo and everyone has done, you don't raise $1 million in a night, serve 14,000 at-risk kids annually, give 100,000 rides, 400,000 meals a year. You don't do that without an amazing board. And let me tell you, if you serve on the Boys and Girls Club board, it's a life sentence. And they are committed. They are committed. So I just want to acknowledge, I couldn't be up here without acknowledging the board for what you do day in and day out. I also want to acknowledge Mike and his team. When you talk about Mike Worm, I'm not sure where you start and where you end. But I do tell people, I'll put up Mike Worm with his leadership skills. I'll put him up against anybody of any organization in the state of Nevada. And yes, Mike. And I'll put his team up against any Boys and Girls Club in the United States of America. To the team, to Mike and the team. And I'm not just saying this to say this, I truly believe this. When you get an award like this and you come up, you go, I'm not really significant, but what they do is significant. And that Mike and the staff is who should be up here getting this award for what they do day in and day out. Well, as I travel down the road of making dreams come true and thank yous, I have to thank most precious people around me, which is my family. And so, Mom, you did a great job on that video. Yeah. So, my mother, Ro, who should be in a padded cell after raising my brother and I, and truly, so Mother Ro, and to my brother, Ted, and his beautiful wife, Carrie, to my incredible sister, Carrie, and her charming husband, Matt Whithead. Matt really is charming. You just got to get to know him. And he is. And hey, truly, Mom, Ted, Carrie, you could be up here getting this award with me also. None of this happens without you. Nothing happens without you and our family and you guys supporting everything that we do day in and day out. If you have a family, yep, there's family dynamics. Sometimes family dynamics could be crazy. Now then add a business to that. You can get really crazy dynamics. But I'm telling you, we haven't had those. We haven't had those because of my mother, my brother, my sister, my sister-in-law, brother-in-law, supporting everything we do. So thank you for all you do to support me, the business, and the community. I want to quickly acknowledge my 3 boys, as Vicki mentioned them earlier, which is Angelo, Mateo, and Gino Reviglio. So raise your hand, guys. Good-looking boys. They look like their mother. So you could see we went with the Italian theme. So then I married the Irish theme, joking, Kathy Reviglio, formerly DeVolio. And I'm not gonna go into the story. If you want to know the story about Kathy and I, don't ask me, because it's way too long. Ask Kathy, she'll give you the short version. But I just want to say this, Kath, is without going into the whole story, I just want to say that you make so many of my dreams come true. and you've created amazing magic in my life, and I love you. I'm talking about family, and I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Christine Hogan, who's my right hand, my left hand, my eyes, my ears, my sanity, as I'm driving her crazy from early hours to late hours, and what she's able to help accomplish, none of it could happen without you, Christine. So thank you for all you do. And hey, and Richard, can't forget her amazing husband, Richard. Thanks for supporting the whole process too, Richard. And I've got to just mention all the employees of Western Nevada Supply Company. The Blue Team members, it's so supportive of everything we do, never frustrated, totally bought in the whole process. And really, the Reviglio family is nothing without our employees. We got the best employees, the most loyal employees in the country. Thank you, Blue Team members. And obviously none of that happens without phenomenal customers. Have a lot of great dear friends, a lot of great customers in this room. Thank you for supporting us. Thank you for supporting us and helping us support, but when we're supporting, it's because you're supporting. So thank you for all the Blue Team customers and the friends. Appreciate you so much, so dearly. And two last thank yous. And those two aren't here tonight. One passed 8 years ago. That was my father, Jack. And the other is my Uncle Tom, who's not here tonight. And believe it or not, Uncle Tom is on the Disney cruise, okay? He truly is. He's on the Disney cruise. Now, most of you know Uncle Tom. For those of you who don't, he's pretty colorful. And so I'm just imagine it for a second. He's on the Disney cruise. Can you imagine some of the kids on that Disney cruise? Mommy, Daddy, we learned some new words today. Anyways, in 1992, I moved back to the family business, and I saw my father and my uncle's love and passion for helping others. I saw their love and passion for the community. I saw a crystal clear vision that you'll take care of the customer, whatever it takes, and you'll give back to the community in good economies and in bad economies. Now, I didn't learn everything, but I learned that the community matters and that youth matter. And if you have any blessings, give some of those blessings back. I'm not the smartest guy, but I had two great coaches. And those coaches, my father and uncle, laid out a crystal clear roadmap. And that roadmap said, help out the less fortunate. And if you have any fortune, give a percentage of that fortune back. So on that note, I want to thank so many of you in this room as you give a percentage of your fortune back throughout our community, and specifically on this cause to the Boys and Girls Club. And I specifically want to thank so many of you in this room that I relentlessly call and pester every year for the It Just Takes One campaign. And as I relentlessly ask, you continue to relentlessly give. Thank you for making that difference. The fact is, there is not a better example of any organization where the community comes together for one cause to help the youth. Not one better example than the Boys and Girls Club of Truckee Meadows. Through a strong leadership team, a visionary board, and a passionate community. There's currently 24 sites from here to Ely, 4 early learning centers, ages 6 months to 5 years old. As I mentioned earlier, given 100,000 rides a year, serving 400,000 meals, and giving a safe haven for 14,000 at-risk kids annually with $11 million budget. And it's not, what's happening here is not just being recognized in Northern Nevada. It's not just being recognized regionally. It's being recognized across the United States of America. I'm telling you, the Truckee Meadows Boys and Girls Club in little old Northern Nevada is being recognized by the major metros across the United States of America. It's a fact. And they're being recognized because of everyone in this room coming together. And it's not because of one event. It's not because of one location. It's not because of one group of kids. It's because we are showing everyone across the country that the best way to grow and transform your community is by investing in its most precious asset, its youth. So, thank you all for your willingness and time and investing and making the dreams come true and creating the happiest place on earth for 14,000 at-risk kids annually. And I'll close with one comment from my greatest mentor and the most passionate Boys and Girls Club board member in the history of time, my father, Jack. And Dad said, you know, when we meet our Creator, He's not going to ask us how big our house was, what kind of car we drove, or how many toys we had. He's going to ask us, what did you do to make a difference in your fellow mankind? Thank you all for making a difference in your fellow mankind. Thank you.